Hello everybody, this is Elliott from ETJ English, and today I'm sat on the floor. Today we are here to talk about pronunciation. We're here to talk about how you can start improving your pronunciation right now. Some useful techniques, some things you can do just to really speed up the process. So how do we do it? Well, let me start with my first point. The first thing I want you to do is to familiarize yourself with the IPA. What's the IPA, Elliott? Well, the IPA is the International Phonetic Alphabet. Lots of you probably already know what this is. If you've watched my videos, you will have seen some sounds from the IPA before. It's basically an alphabet of sounds. So we have the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We also have an alphabet for A, O, E, all those sounds, right? And it's quite useful to learn these because in every dictionary, for example, if you learn a new word, they will also have the IPA spelling of this word, and it will show you exactly how to pronounce it. So it would be silly not to learn the IPA. So the IPA includes consonants and vowels, and also indicators like stress. So this is really important because it will help you with learning, firstly, all the sounds which are in the English language, in British English, and also it will help you with learning how new words that you learn are pronounced. And when you learn the IPA, I also want you to notice sounds which sound similar. So I've mentioned before in my YouTube videos the confusion that people have between words like beach and bitch. Let me do a more safe for work version. Let's do sheep and ship. These two sounds, E and I, they sound similar. And this is where looking at people's mouths and mimicking people also joins this point. So when you look at people, look at me when I pronounce sheep. I do a big smile, right? What about when I say ship? Sheep, ship. Sheep, ship. There's a difference there. I'm smiling more for E. My tongue is actually going higher, but it's quite difficult to see. So you need to notice what's happening with similar sounds. And you also need to watch people's mouths, whether they're smiling more, whether they're creating a very round shape with the mouth. Just keep an eye on what's happening when you're watching YouTube videos, watching things on TV, and just be aware of the movements in the mouth. And then you can start mimicking. Copy people, mirror people. Maybe don't do it when you're in a conversation with someone, but sure, you can copy people when you're at home watching TV. And the concept of mimicking, mirroring, and listening to people is mostly, and I would say extremely useful for learning stress and intonation. So maybe sometime when you're watching something like an interview with a British person or my YouTube videos, listen to the tone. Don't focus on the sounds, but listen to the tone when I'm going up and I'm going down, and listen to what's happening. And that should give you a bit more of a natural feeling of how we're talking. You can start analysing it and try to copy. Don't be afraid to act a little bit crazy and just walk around the house and pretend you're British. This is something that I do. Sometimes I walk around the house and pretend I'm Australian. I'll just copy an Australian accent because I like it. Active practice. I also want you to be creative. You might have heard of these things called tongue twisters, such as she sells seashells by the seashore. Nailed it. These are where we combine lots of similar sounds and put them into one sentence to make it quite difficult to pronounce them. And what we do is we try and say them as fast as we can. Why don't you create your own tongue twisters? If you are creative, you will remember things more. So instead of just looking on Google for some tongue twisters, create your own and you're more likely to remember in your brain. Being creative helps you learn faster. That is the truth. Record yourself. We all have smartphones nowadays. Get a voice recording app, use a voice recording app, and record your voice. Listen to yourself and think about what's missing. Why don't I sound British? Maybe for some people this might be quite hard. If you join my online course, you can send me voice recordings and I can give you detailed feedback on how you sound and what you need to work on. But when you do voice recordings, it's good to see the changes you make and the progress you make as you go. Record yourself again saying the same sentence 2 weeks later after practicing and see if you've improved. Sing songs in a British accent. Talk to yourself in a British accent. There's this great technique I read about. For example, if somebody wants to quit smoking, the person needs to first identify themselves as a non-smoker. So why don't you do the same thing with pronunciation? Identify yourself as a British speaker. Imagine you are, believe you are, and imagine that person you want to sound like. Always have kind of one idol, one person you want to sound like. This technique doesn't work for everyone, but it is a great technique to try. So also, I need you to take your time. Pronunciation is one of the longest improvements. Now, there is one way to speed it up faster, and that is invest. Just like a business, if you want it to grow, you need to invest your time, you need to invest your money. Time. Find more time to improve your pronunciation. Small amounts, but often is usually what I recommend. You need to practice what you learn, so you need more time to do that. Investing your money. Join an online course. And the best thing about an online course, such as mine, it doesn't have to be mine, it will guide you in the right direction, step by step, and you'll learn the right things in the right order, in detail. And the extra bonus that comes with my course is that you can talk with me on WhatsApp and I can guide you, evaluate your speech and tell you where you need to go with your practice. So an online course is definitely a very powerful option. For some people it's not a good choice, for others it is, but it's entirely up to you. But the main thing is just to be brave, don't be afraid to practice, correct yourself. So that's kind of my top tips for people who want to improve their pronunciation. It's a few techniques. Now there are other techniques, there are many more techniques, but these are the ones which I would do. Let's say. These are probably the things that I would do and a few other options. So I hope I did give you some useful advice today. Please do give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I make videos every week, so I will see you next week. Cheers guys.